let's go to professional finance company. I'm sure you've heard them talk about, or I'm sure you've seen them, uh, PFC. They've been around a while, and they're pretty good too. A lot of times PFC has their stuff in order. One thing I wanted to highlight here is their collection strategy. We listen first and calling customers or gaining customers' confidence. Um, I thought this was kind of funny. You can go to their website, professionalfinancecompany.com, and actually look under their collections section. But I wanted to point something out because I just saw this on there and while I was reading. This right here, collectors accomplish this by treating your customers with dignity and respect. Now, I don't know about you, but anytime I've dealt with a collection company, I have definitely not been treated with dignity and respect. So I just thought that was kind of funny. Their collectors are trained to be effective listeners, so on and so forth. So the third-party contingency collection service. This is all the services that they provide. Which is nice. They even have in-house attorneys and litigation department, online account management. So they offer a lot of services to their clients. And remember, when I say clients, I'm talking about customer or big companies, not consumers. I'm sure everyone has seen this on their credit reports one time or another, or if you haven't, that is great. NCO Financial, they they're a huge one. I mean, they are absolutely huge, and they offer collection services, debt recovery, and collection solutions. Help businesses process by increasing recovered funds. They interact with debtors using various methods. They also do credit bureau reporting. Um, One thing I wanted to point out right here is NCO uses credit bureau reporting as a debt recovery and credit collection tool. So anytime a debt is reported on your credit report, that is a collection company's attempt to collect on that debt. So keep in mind that if that debt is no longer valid, or or it's not accurate, by the collection company reporting that debt on your report, it is their attempt to collect on a debt. Especially, you've got a surefire way to get that deletion off of there from a collection company, especially if the debt has been taken care of with the original creditor, because then at that point the debt is no longer valid, and the collection company is attempt to collect by reporting an invalid debt. So just keep that in mind. That's a little tidbit of information nugget right there for you. They also offer skip tracing and whatnot. We're going to move on to Jefferson Capital Systems. I'm sure you've heard of them before, but they're pretty big, and I just wanted to highlight a service that they advocate in their whole little organization, and that's this Mastercard. And is what it is. The debt that they purchase, they transfer that debt, or they give the consumer an option to transfer that debt over to a credit card. Now the irony is that they're a debt collector, but they also offer this credit card as a means to rebuild the consumer's credit. So they take the debt that is owed, and if it's okay with the consumer, and the consumer has to agree to this, but they'll take that amount, transfer it on this credit card, and allow you to make monthly payments to pay down that debt. All the while, that credit card is reporting on your credit as a revolving line of credit. So it's actually it's so as you can see why I say it's a double-edged sword. You got a debt collection on your credit report, but you also get this revolving line of credit in the amount of the debt or of the debt that's being owed. So you're making payments. It's reporting to the credit bureaus as a positive account that you're making payments. Moving forward, though, I wanted to talk about blocks of debt, how collection companies actually acquire, and that was the third one. How do they acquire accounts? Well, Jefferson Capital actually purchases what's called blocks of debt, as most collection companies do. So when they purchase this amount of debt, you may be thinking, well, they just bought my account individually. Well, no, that's not the case. Is what they do is big companies that have massive amounts of debt, and I mean massive amounts of debt. They've written them off. They've done a profit and loss on them. The debt is uncollectible. Well, is what they do is they contact a collection company, and I'm just using Jefferson Capital Systems because they've actually posted this for the public to see. So that's why I'm going to go through here. So if you and I were a bank or an original creditor and we needed a collection company to collect on a block of debt for us, they have this little application. We just type in the name of our company, address, so on and so forth. But right here, we would select the type of account. If it's auto, credit card, healthcare installment, telecom, payday loan, line of credit, direct deposit advance, so on and so forth. But check this out. Please select the size of the portfolio. So the minimum that they have, is up to $5 million. So it's from, 0 all the way up to $5 million, $5 million to $20 million, all the way up to $500 million plus. So let's just say this. Most collection companies, depending on the age of the account, how old it is or how new it is, purchase this debt at different rates. They want to know, if it's an old account, if it's super old, or if it's new. So they may purchase this debt, between a fraction of a cent on the dollar all the way up to 15 cents on a dollar, just depending on, how old and how new. But once they do that, if they collect, let's just throw 5 million out here, right here. If they purchase this $5 million worth block of debt for say $100,000, and they're successful at collecting 100% of this, that means that they've made a wonderful profit. And as you can imagine, collection companies are very profitable at what they do, and then moving forward, they want to know the age of the debt. We just got done talking about that. Is it a mixture? Is it old debt or is it new debt? Is it a percentage? The asking price. How much are we asking? We just type in, well, I want, $100,000 for this debt, or, I type in a percentage. Say I want, 15%. I've already written it off. I've lost. I'll take anything. And then, of course, right here they say, please select the timeline desired for closing. Meaning how soon do we want to make this deal or the sale? Is it really important? So on and so forth, or is it not that important? Okay. So I hope that allowed you to kind of see what services they provide, how they acquire debt, and and allowed you to learn a little bit more about collection companies and services that they offer and actually how they acquire debts. So I hope this was informative to you. As always, empower yourself, educate yourself, and take action. Jeremy Hudson here with H&I Credit Solutions. Have a wonderful day.